what if I told you that the smartest person in the room, well, isn't always the one with the highest IQ?
Mm.
What if success, like real success, hinges on something? Something deeper, something you might not even realize you can actually build.
That's a powerful thought.
Yeah, and today, we're not just reviewing a book, we're doing a deep dive into a concept that honestly changes the game on who excels and why. We're talking Daniel Goleman's classic Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ.
Right.
It's a mass market paperback, came out way back in '96, but believe me, its insights are more important than ever if you want to really get a handle on your own success.
Oh, absolutely. That's precisely why this book is just essential. It really was groundbreaking, wasn't it? A bestseller that didn't just redefine intelligence, it kind of shifted our whole understanding of human potential.
Yeah.
Goleman lays out this really compelling science-backed argument that our emotions, they're not just, background noise. They play this major active role in how we think, how we make decisions, and ultimately how much we achieve.
Right.
So this deep dive into his work, it's kind of a shortcut, really, a shortcut to understanding those qualities that mark people who genuinely excel, whose relationships work, who become the stars at work.
Okay.
And it'll help you understand exactly how emotional intelligence can be nurtured and strengthened in all of us.
Before we go on, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video. This podcast is known as the Deep Seek Diaries, and you can find us on the major social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Linked in the description section are all the resources and discussion today, including books, websites, and so on. Please go through our terms and conditions as soon as you can. Now sit back and enjoy the podcast. Okay, so let's unpack Goleman's core argument then. He really pushes back against that narrow, IQ-obsessed view of intelligence, doesn't he?
Totally. He argues it's just far too limited.
Yeah. Instead, he says emotional intelligence, EI, is actually the strongest indicator of human success.
Yeah.
What does that mean, strongest indicator? Like career success, personal happiness. What's the scope?
That's a really key question. And Goleman identifies these core qualities that aren't just, nice to have. They're actually defining traits.
Right.
Things like self-awareness, impulse control, persistence, motivation, empathy, social skills, social deftness.
Right, the soft skills.
Exactly. But the profound insight here is that these aren't secondary at all. They're foundational. They're what build genuine success and a deep connection in pretty much every part of life.
That really is a shift in perspective. So how does Goleman actually define this EI thing then? It sounds pretty broad.
Well, he defines emotional intelligence as basically a mix of internal and external skills or competencies.
Okay.
So on the internal side, you've got self-awareness, knowing your own feelings, self-management, handling them, impulse control, mood regulation. It's all about your inner world.
Got it. Managing yourself.
Right. And then externally, it includes stuff like altruism, personal motivation, empathy, really understanding others' social awareness, and the ability to manage emotions effectively in others.
So how you interact.
Exactly. How you navigate the world, how you connect. And crucially, the ability to love and be loved, friends, partners, family. It's pretty comprehensive, isn't it?
It really is. It sounds like Goleman saying being smart is much bigger than just, solving puzzles. But what's the science? How does he explain why emotions are so powerful?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. He talks about having two minds, one that thinks and one that feels.
Okay, like a metaphor.
Well, yes, but it's grounded in neuroscience. It's like a map for understanding those internal tug-of-wars we all have.
Right.
He digs into the neural circuits, explaining the balance between the feeling part of the brain, the amygdala.
Emotional trigger, yeah.
Exactly, your emotional alarm system. And then the thinking part, the prefrontal cortex, that's your rational control tower.
Okay.
Now, when that alarm system goes wild and basically overrides the control tower, Goleman calls that a neural hijacking.
Okay. I think we've all felt that moment you just snap.
Precisely. You feel totally swept away by anger, anxiety, whatever it is. Emotion just takes over rational thought. And he links this to things like anxiety, chronic anger, depression.
Wow.
But, and this is the massive game changer he stresses, that temperament is not destiny. Meaning your brain has this incredible ability called neuroplasticity. It can actually rewire itself, form new connections, new patterns throughout your whole life. You're not stuck.
So he's basically giving a scientific name to those times our emotions just hijack us.
Yeah.
That reaction you instantly regret.
Yeah.
But you're saying we're not actually doomed to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Because of neuroplasticity.
Exactly right. And that's where the power lies, understanding this. Because emotions are actual physiological responses in the brain, not just vague feelings. Recognizing that lets us see their huge impact.
Okay.
I mean, think about the contrast. Good moods, positive emotions, they don't just feel nice. They actively help us stay motivated, optimistic, resilient, resourceful. They literally help us think more flexibly, make connections we might otherwise miss. Goleman has this great quote. Hang on. Laughing, like elation, seems to help people think more broadly and associate more freely, noticing relationships that might have eluded them otherwise.
Interesting.
You know, we've all seen that colleague who can somehow lighten the mood on a rough Monday, and suddenly ideas start flowing. Goleman explains the neuroscience behind why that happens.
That's fascinating. So positive emotions literally make us, well, smarter and more capable in the moment. What about the downside? When negative emotions grab hold?
Well, the flip side is pretty stark, actually. Negative emotions, think anger, anxiety, depression, they can seriously hamper our working memory.
Oh, okay.
And our intellect, our performance overall. Each one can be a kind of emotional hijacking, making it harder to focus, think clearly, solve problems. It's a powerful reminder that our emotional state isn't just about feeling. It directly impacts how well our brain functions.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means emotional intelligence isn't something you're just born with, fixed. It can absolutely be nurtured. It can be strengthened.
That's the key takeaway, really. Goleman doesn't just point out the issue. The book offers practical ways to improve your emotional skills, manage those negative feelings.
Like what?
Things like cultivating self-awareness, really tuning into what triggers you, practicing cognitive reframing, changing how you look at a situation, using distraction techniques to stop those toxic thought spirals before they really get going.
Okay.
It makes you think of that powerful quote, doesn't it? Anyone can become angry, that is easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, in the right way, that is not easy.
That's good.
And the book sort of gives you the roadmap to get closer to that ideal.
And a big chunk of the book you mentioned looks at the real world impact, right? When emotional skills are lacking in relationships, family, work, even health.
Absolutely. He really connects the dots between our inner emotional world and, our outer success and well-being. He gives specific examples how EI makes a manager more effective or impacts how good a teammate someone is or a spouse or a parent.
Makes sense.
And beyond that, our emotional states are deeply tied to physical and mental health. Goleman points out how stress and depression affect our susceptibility to illness, even how we recover.
Wow.
And get this, here's a fact that really stopped me. Social isolation, which is fundamentally an emotional and social state, can affect mortality rates as much as smoking or high blood pressure.
Seriously, as much as smoking.
Yeah, or high cholesterol, obesity.
Yeah.
That's how profound the impact of our emotional connections or lack thereof really is.
Which brings us right back to Goleman's main argument. IQ is important, sure, especially for certain technical roles maybe.
Right, getting your foot in the door sometimes.
But EI contributes way more to overall success and quality of life, especially in those softer areas like health, love, relationships. How did that play out in the big picture?
Well, looking wider, it becomes even clearer. Think about families. It's emotional intelligence, not really IQ, that influences how long a marriage lasts or how well a child learns to handle tough times. In the workplace, especially higher up where everyone's already pretty smart technically, EI is what really makes the best leaders stand out. Their ability to connect, motivate, understand people.
Okay.
And even on a societal level, he argues, an emotionally intelligent community fosters a more moral, more ethical culture. Goleman puts it so well. Let me find the quote. Here. Academic intelligence offers virtually no preparation for the turmoil or opportunity life's vicissitudes bring.
So true.
Yet even though a high IQ is no guarantee of prosperity, prestige, or happiness in life, our schools and our culture fixate on academic abilities, ignoring emotional intelligence, a set of traits some might call it character that also matters immensely for our personal destiny. Powerful stuff.
It really is. Okay, I hope you're enjoying the topic so far. Please subscribe to the DeepSeek Diaries and like this video. Don't forget you can find us on the major social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Linked in the description section are all the resources in discussion today, including books, websites, and so on. So we've dug into the book's ideas, which are pretty profound. But what do actual readers think? people who've bought it on Amazon.
Good question. Always interesting to see the user reviews.
Right. Well, Emotional Intelligence has a really impressive 4.5 out of 5 stars, and that's from over 13,000 global ratings. So clearly, overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, 13,000. That's significant.
Yeah, 68% gave it 5 stars, another 19% gave it 4 stars. So yeah, strong showing.
So what are people saying? What themes pop up again and again in those positive reviews?
Well, lots of comments like great piece and insight, and a great book for understanding emotional intelligence and how this can influence self-awareness and empathy. That comes up a lot.
Okay, so hitting the core message.
Definitely. People call it a life-changing book, saying it helps them feel prepared for upcoming challenges and help to handle situations. It gets praised as a well-written and practical guide to emotions, and, echoing Goleman, an impressive argument that excellence is more than IQ. Lots of readers found it fundamental for life. Someone called it a deep, assertive reflection based on scientific research conducted for decades, and another, simply transformative reading.
High praise indeed. Anything else stand out?
Yeah, quite a few mentioned it being useful for self-help job. I think they mean self-improvement, and for improved knowledge and range of personal and professional soft skills. So people are definitely seeing practical value.
It sounds like it really resonates with people looking for both deep understanding and practical application.
It does, but no book is perfect, right? And there was some constructive feedback too.
Okay. What were the main criticisms?
Well, one was purely physical. The print is super, super tiny. So maybe check the edition if you're buying the paperback.
Good practical tip. What about the content?
Some reviewers found parts of it to be word salad.
Ouch.
Yeah. They felt there were very dense areas of unnecessary explanation as well, no real action steps, which made it feel like, a bit of a struggle to finish for them.
Okay, so maybe too academic or detailed for some tastes?
Seems like it. And a few people specifically noted that the first 2 chapters, a little intense heavy, so maybe it takes a bit to get into the flow.
That actually makes sense if we connect that back. While the book's depth can be a hurdle for some, it kind of fits its reputation, doesn't it? It is a deep, science-backed exploration, not just a quick self-help guide.
Sure.
So the value is really in that detailed understanding it gives you, even if the action steps aren't always laid out like, a simple checklist. It's a book that maybe asks a bit more of the reader, but rewards that effort.
Yeah, that seems fair. So we've covered the huge impact of Daniel Goleman's work, how it really reframes success through this lens of emotional intelligence. This deep dive was kind of a shortcut, hopefully, to grasping how much our emotions really drive our lives, our relationships, our careers.
Absolutely. Which kind of leads to the big question for you, the listener, right? Considering everything we've talked about, if emotional intelligence can be nurtured, if it can be strengthened, what concrete steps will you actually take? Starting today. How will you cultivate your own emotional landscape? How will you get better at handling relationships, achieving your goals?
That's the real challenge, isn't it?
Yeah. How might you weave this understanding into your daily life, your interactions, your long-term plans? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
I hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the DeepSeek Diaries. Please don't forget to check out the link resources in the description section. Hit the subscribe and like buttons as you head off if you haven't already. Until the next episode, goodbye.